It is time for Money Power Politics, and tonight this is serious. NBC News can confirm that the Justice Department has opened a criminal probe into Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. The probe, which was first reported by the Wall Street Journal, centers upon whether Cook submitted fraudulent information on mortgage applications. Subpoenas have reportedly already been issued. Her attorney, Abbe Lowell, responded to the probe today, accusing the Trump administration of, quote, scrambling to invent new justifications for its overreach with a new politicized investigation. For more, I want to bring in Peter Goodman, global economics correspondent for the New York Times, and Ron Insana, CNBC contributor and author of The Message of the Markets on Substack. Peter, this probe dramatically raises the stakes, raises the risks here for Lisa Cook. What do you make of this?
Well, we don't know what she actually did, but this we know. We know that this is not a rigorous, dispassionate process. We know that a president
I don't know what that means.
We know that a president who has vindictively gone after large law firms and has named in executive orders that he's signed the people he's gone after for the reason that they worked for his enemies. This president, who has himself run bankrupt companies, who stands accused of inventing billions of dollars on his own balance sheet so he can justify getting his hands on loans to bail out his own companies. This is the person who's driving this. The other thing we know is he said publicly,
it's not scary.
He wants to take control of the Federal Reserve. I mean, that's what's going on here. He's told us that. He wants to drive interest rates lower. He thinks that's going to give us a stock market boom. He thinks that's going to give us growth. It's a dangerous game because the independent Federal Reserve is the linchpin of the American system that for as long as we've been alive has been the great refuge for capitalism around the globe. And he's monkeying with that in the name of making money cheap.
Gotta wonder if any of those tech leaders told him that truth tonight. I'm going to take a guess. No. All right, Ron. We actually saw the Federal Housing Finance Agency Director, Bill Pulte. He's the one leading the charge against Cook. He spoke about the allegations against her, where they came from, as much as he was willing to say on CNBC earlier this morning. I want to share a bit of it.
Can you speak directly to how this came about in terms of going and looking at her work?
Our agency discovered it, Andrew, independent of anyone else. As I said, we received a tip.
This tip came from where?
Well, you have to understand, of course, as part of a federal investigation, I'm not going to explain our sources and methods, where we get tips from.
Okay, here's the thing. At the very same time, ProPublica is reporting tonight, Ron, that 3 different Trump cabinet members also call multiple homes their primary residence, which is exactly what Lisa Cook is accused of doing. All 3 have denied wrongdoing. The White House called this reporting a hit piece. What's your take, Ron?
We have entered the rules for thee, but not for me arena here with Ken Paxton, also the Attorney General of Texas, having been named for doing the same thing over the course of the last many years. So, again, it goes back to what was said earlier with respect to wanting to open up enough governorships on the board of the Federal Reserve that the president can name people who would be more favorably inclined to his desire to lower interest rates. The Federal Reserve, now known as the Department of Lower Interest Rates, is what the president is trying to create here in such a manner that he has said this publicly. He would like to see short-term interest rates at 1% from the current 4.25% to 4.5%. That would be throwing gasoline on an open fire with respect to financial markets and so on and so forth. So, look, it's been said the president wants control of the Federal Reserve. He wants final say if he can get it. That's probably not going to happen. But that's what this is all about. It is simply removing the independence of the Federal Reserve, which, again, as stated, has been the cornerstone of the way in which our capitalist system works.
All right, well, let's talk about those governors, because Stephen Miron said today that he does not plan to resign from his current role as White House economic advisor if he gets confirmed on the Fed Board of Governors. Instead, he plans to just take an unpaid leave. Does that not raise a serious red flag?
I mean, this is not an administration that stops to contemplate conflicts of interest. They don't see conflicts between their interests.
You know what? You're right.
I mean, it seems pretty simple to the outsider. So hold on. You're for the independent Federal Reserve, but you're also for continuing to work for the president who says he wants to control the Federal Reserve and wants interest rates to be lowered and who's threatened to fire the Fed chair. How do these two things go together, only in this particular administration? All
right, Ron, new topic. Tomorrow, of course, we are getting the August jobs report. It is the first report since Trump fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner over the July data that he didn't like. What are we expecting? What industries are you watching? Are you going to trust the number?
Yeah, I'm going to trust the number because I don't think there's been enough time for the BLS commissioner designee or nominee to have any influence over the data collection that took place a month ago. There's a week in every month in which the Bureau of Labor Statistics collects this data from corporations and from households. So, yeah, I'm going to trust the number. The economists are looking for somewhere between 75 and 100,000 jobs created. Now, we've seen some softness throughout this week in labor market data. Job openings are now greater than the number of, I should say, there are more workers than there are job openings. Let me put it in plain English. Jobless claims today reached a multi-week high. And we also saw ADP, which estimates how many private payroll jobs were created last month, came in at about 54,000. So it's a slow number. We also have another problem, Stephanie, as you well know. The labor force is actually shrinking. The pool of workers is shrinking, partly because of immigration, partly because AI is locking kids out of entry-level jobs and other disruptions that are taking place in business right now. And so this smaller number may become normal because it takes fewer workers to maintain the unemployment rate where it is if the pool of labor is shrinking and the participation rate, those people involved in the labor market, is also declining at the same time. So this is going to be really quirky stuff, and it's going to make it difficult, potentially anyway, for the Department of Lower Interest Rates to do more than just one cut in September.
Well, the president was actually asked about tomorrow's job report earlier this evening. Watch this.
A lot of people will be turning to you to see if you believe the data that's released. Can you commit to saying the data will be credible?
The number, I don't know, they come out tomorrow, but the real numbers that I'm talking about are going to be whatever it is, but will be in a year from now when these monstrous, huge, beautiful places, they're palaces of genius. And when they start opening up, you're seeing, I think you'll see job numbers that are going to be absolutely incredible. Right now, it's a lot of construction numbers, but you're going to see job numbers like our country has never seen before.
What in the holy hell is a palace of genius? We just looked at manufacturing data this week, and manufacturing is going down in this country. What palaces of genius is he speaking of? It's
whatever headline can justify on this reality television presidency the narrative that's contrary to the data that we're having this manufacturing renaissance. But here's the incredible thing about this question over the BLS numbers. If Trump gets the numbers that he wants, having gotten rid of...
You're going to bring her on back?
Well, here's the thing. Well, let's say the numbers are terrific. You know what the impact of that is? Less likelihood that we get the Fed cut that he wants later this month.
Oh, my God.
So he's boxed in either way. So either the numbers are going to be gangbusters, then the markets are presumably going to sell because we won't get the cheap money that the president's promised us, or the numbers will be whatever they are, and we'll wonder... can we trust these numbers in the world's largest economy?
He'll just throw the box out the window and head to the palace of genius.